If Skella somehow entered the Pokemon universe, what would her team be like? In this video, that's exactly what we're going to answer, and we're going to start off with Executor, the Alola form, the one with the super tall head. I chose this one because Skella's story kind of begins at a beach, and I think this would make a lot of sense for her because it would remind her of that beach. It's kind of almost a safe place. It's not quite a safe place, but it's just a place that she has a lot of memories with, and I think it just makes a lot of sense for her character. I decided to give it Earthquake, Explosion, Power Whip, and Sleep Powder. I didn't really know what other abilities to give it, so I feel like Sleep Powder might be helpful because, I don't know, Skella is kind of sneaky and stealthy. Maybe she can put her enemies to sleep or something like that, and Power Whip something. I did choose Explosion because it does feel like Skella sometimes explodes with anger, and it feels like if one of the Pokemon can learn Explosion, it makes sense to give the Explosion because she kind of does explode on that beach at the beginning of the story. That is her origin. That's when she finally snaps. She kind of explodes, so to speak. So I think it fits really well for her character. And in that same vein, we have Palafin over here at number 2 because it's a dolphin, and a dolphin is very important to Skella and her character. Of course, if you have read the book or have watched the video where I read the first chapter, then you probably know enough about her to know why Palafin is on this list. There needs to be a dolphin on her team, and I'm pretty sure this is the only dolphin Pokemon in the Pokemon universe. I decided to give it Surf and Protect, specifically Protect because the dolphin in the story does try to protect Skella at least a little bit. Focus Blast also feels like it makes sense because it feels like it requires precision. Aqua Jet also kind of feels like it requires precision, and the dolphin in the story is very precise with its strikes and stuff. Now, speaking of strikes, we have Blade. I'm just going to call it Blade. I actually have no idea how to pronounce this Pokemon's name, but I honestly thought like giving Skella something spiky or sharp or something like that would really fit for a character as well, because she has those spiked cuffs on her hooves and on her back hooves, her front hooves. She has those spiked cuffs, and so I thought maybe I could find a Pokemon that would kind of represent the spiked cuffs a little bit, and ultimately I decided that I would just straight up give her a sword, basically, and I do kind of picture Skella possibly just holding this Pokemon like an actual sword or something like that and swinging it around. I decided to give it Psycho Cut because it has the word psycho in it, and Skella is quite psychotic. Swords Dance because I feel like Skella would dance with a sword in a way. Like I feel like she would actually be good with a sword because she's been so good with her spiked bracelets or her spiked cuffs her whole life, so it makes sense. Now, the next 2 on the list might be a little bit more difficult to really wrap your head around, but I chose Green Ninja because it is a water-type Pokemon, and I wanted her to have a lot of water-type Pokemon because she loves the water and she loves plants and nature. That's why I decided to add like earth and grass, those kinds of elements here into everything. And I feel like Green Ninja really fits the aquatic aesthetic, but it's also stealthy, kind of like how Skella is. Skella is very stealthy. She hides in bushes, she hides in plants and things like that. She can hide in the water even. She's really good at hiding and sneaking around and things like that, and I felt like Green Ninja was probably the stealthiest and quickest Pokemon that would really fit that theme, that vibe of Skella. And it really makes a lot of sense too because she's gonna need at least one Pokemon that can keep up with her speed and everything like that. And Green Ninja is pretty fast and pretty sneaky, so I added Green Ninja to the list. I decided to give him Ice Punch and Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak specifically because again I wanted to have that sneaky element there. Switcheroo I also added because I feel like Skella would be a strategic player or a strategic trainer, if that makes sense. And I feel like Switcheroo is really good for strategy. Green Ninja was a little bit harder to decide. I almost went with Inteleon. I almost put Inteleon in there because they are intelligent and they're also at least a little bit stealthy and quick. And like I said, Skella's going to need at least one Pokemon that can keep up with her. And I think Green Ninja ultimately gets that because as fast as Inteleon is, I feel like it just doesn't fit as well as Green Ninja does. Now, next up we have Superior. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Again, just correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. I decided this one because it's a grass-type Pokemon, and like I said earlier, I wanted her to have a little bit of grass-type Pokemon and some water-type Pokemon and things like that because she really loves the ocean and she loves plants and things like that. So it made sense to give her some grass-type Pokemon. But at the same time, I wasn't really sure which one to give her, and ultimately I decided this one because it's kind of like a snake. It's like a serpent, basically, and that feels like it fits to her character. She can be kind of like a snake in a way. More cat-like than snake-like, I would think, and so I kind of almost put Sprigtito on here, but at the same time, I feel like a serpent or this snake that's larger than life just kind of feels like it fits a little bit. Now, I gave it Outrage because, again, it just feels like it fits to Skella's character. She would probably have Outrage as an ability. Dragon Pulse, Overgrow, Coil, these kinds of, all these moves basically just feel like something that just really fits to Skella's character a little bit. Now, finally, we have the last one on this list. I kind of wanted to give her like a cute one just to kind of offset everything else, but then I realized that that didn't really make a lot of sense to just give her a random cute Pokemon, and then I saw a Shaman. Or Shaman. Shaman is this little hedgehog thing with a flower, and it's really cute, and it actually does kind of fit with Skella because, as I said earlier, she hides in bushes and grass and things like that, and this kind of fits that theme. It's the bush that she hid in at the beginning of the story or something like that, right? It could be spiky, and she also, of course, loves roses specifically, so I didn't want to give her Roselia because I hate that Pokemon with a passion. And I also just feel like it doesn't really fit her character too much. This one feels like it fits. I could just picture Skella with Shaman just riding on her head or something like that as she goes through and just murders people or something. I decided to give it Bullet Speed and Leech Seed, Play Rough, and Endeavor. Endeavor really feels like it fits to Skella's character as well because she endures a lot. She plays rough. She's really feisty. So Play Rough also does feel like it fits. So that's pretty much it. That is Skella's team if she was in the Pokemon universe. Let me know in the comments below what you would change about this. Based off of what you know about Skella, is this list accurate to her? Do you think that maybe I should switch out Serperior with something else, or Green Ninja with something else, or any of the other Pokemon? Please do let me know. And if you want to see me make a list for Birthmark or one of my other characters, let me know in the comments below because that sounds really fun. But for now, that's all I got for you, so please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that. Because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.